But speaking of putting people in arenas, I think the WWE, they need to maybe they could call Tony, take some of those big buildings off his hand for their overflow. They're selling out everything. Tony ought to get the picture. But from what I understand now, I think you told me we might, before we go into the festivities in Philly this weekend, you might have a clip that Triple H is talking about. He's looking for a different kind of talent for his roster, maybe, than Tony is. Is this what I'm hearing?
That is indeed what you're hearing. I have a clip here that a lot of the listeners have sent in. I think it's from Pat McAfee. I guess that is what you would call. I was going to say, I think it was from the Pat McAfee show. I guess that is what you would call it. No, it says hashtag PMS Live. And I just, when it said it like that, it's kind of funny. That's spelling out the initials in my head. But Jim, on the Pat McAfee show or PMS Live, Triple H had a comment about, I guess, the free agent pool, or people that are coming or have come, or why they come. Let me play this.
Why did they come in the pool?
Well, let me go to this. It's only 25 seconds. Here's Triple H talking to Pat McAfee.
It's a different game. It's a different world. If they're not here to be all in on this, like when I see people that come out of, trying to make it, and then they pick the job where they go, well, they work less, the schedule's lighter. All right, then I'm glad I didn't get you. Okay. Because if you're not in it for the grind, at that point early in your career, you have no business being here.
Okay, so.
Well, let's stop it there. And again, recently in AEW, they've signed Okada, they've signed Ospreay. In the past, Jay White and various people what we've been told chose Tony Khan and his money over WWE and working your way through a system. What do you think of Triple H's comments here?
Well, it's true, and it's been that way to some extent, since Vince went national. That was his mindset. And that's why he always talked about you'll get the opportunity to make more money. And then until there were guaranteed contracts that you still knew that when you worked for him, you stood a better chance than not of making good money. But they want they want the old-fashioned work ethic that I can find fault with a lot of their business practices, but not the Triple H especially. Instead of the Kevin Dunn, Vince thing of modern times, or John Laurinaitis, let's hire some lingerie models, let's hire good-looking people and teach them how to wrestle. Our friend Shitstain, one time, he was quoted as saying, well, I've had matches, and if I can learn to work, anybody can. That was an exact quote, folks. Another reason I despise the ground that he stains shit-colored with his footsteps. They just what? And that's the thing, is that they want people that want to get over. Whether it's me talking about our schedule in Louisiana, we wanted to be stars. We were going to fucking run those roads and do that shit and fight those fucking fans. It was the same thing no matter what era you were in. You had to go through the trials and tribulations of whatever point in time that it was to get to where you wanted to be and be a star and make money and be et cetera, et cetera. And especially now with the WWE, the way it's structured, the potential money is so huge that they want guys that want to learn this as an art and as a business and want to fucking perform. And if they become a star, they want them to go on the road. They want them to make the schedule. They want them to do the big matches. And they're apparently going to pay them very well for it too. But they want guys that are, and I like the way he said it, all in, wink, wink. But there's something to be said for guys at some point in their career, and I'm glad it's there for them, I've got my money, but I'd like to take advantage of the last few years of my career, but I want a lighter schedule. I want to spend more time with my family. I want to have fun. And this billionaire will pay me however many hundreds of thousands or $1 million over the course of whatever. So why not? Because I can't do that WWE fucking thing anymore, and new guys are coming and it's crowded over there. I understand that, but I don't understand, and nor does the WWE want to fool with any young wrestler that doesn't want to be in that program and become the next Rock or the next Austin or the next Cena or the next fucking Roman or whatever.
But that's young wrestler. We're talking about free agents like Okada. Will Ospreay can't be considered a young wrestler right now.
But okay, not young wrestler. How about unknown wrestler? Okada's fine, and I think that now that I've seen Okada, I think they probably wanted him because they figured they could get a fucking foot in Japan. Because what the fuck are we seeing from Okada right now that would impress the WWE audience, or he would stand out from the in-ring of who's there now? What have we seen?
It was Okada who got the Punk Perry footage and put it in his red car and drove it to the Bucks.
Well, nevertheless, so I think that they probably wanted a foothold in Japan and wanted to fill that demographic, but they weren't going to pay Okada to just walk right in and just be, who the fuck would he be in the middle of that crowd of stars? And Tony's like, oh yeah, you can fly to Japan and come back every couple of weeks and whatever. And for Tony's audience, they might know who Okada is. That's fine. For the WWE audience, they would have had to completely start him from scratch. And I don't see it. With Ospreay, I believe they probably had much more interest than they would have in Okada, because he can speak English and he's athletic and he does all the blah, blah, blah. But he would be moving to Florida. He would have to fucking train in the system and then just be there to understand how television and shit works that he ain't been doing, not at this level. But instead, Tony said, fuck, you can fly right to Heathrow every week or whatever. You can come make these 9-day tours. I don't know what the fuck. And he's perfect for their audience. Whereas the WWE, again, would he be a British Ricochet? And so Triple H isn't talking about guys like that they'll go for him, but they're not going to break the bank for him because they got to start him from scratch. There's only a few people probably still left in the business they could get that they wouldn't have to start from scratch. Or that if Danielson ever came back, they'd know him. Would they ever accept Moxley back? My God.
Yes, they would, because he's tied to Reigns and Rollins, so that always makes it acceptable.
But that's the thing, is that when we saw, and we're going to talk about the Roman Reigns biography soon in the future, but when you see the three, there's Seth Rollins, there's Roman Reigns, and there's the plumber. And Uncle Dave was thinking he was going to be the star out of that group. Holy Christ. But they would have to completely control what the fuck that idiot would do on their television. Point is, there's only a few people that could walk in and they wouldn't start them from scratch. And otherwise, but Tony will just bring them right on in and here you go. You can have whatever you want.
See, the other thing is, to this point, if you're just going to throw much more money and really fair terms to guys to compete against WWE, that's only going to have to expand with every free agent that pops up that's worth it.
Well, but now, who's the next worthwhile free agent? Do we know?
Becky Lynch.
Well,
do you double down on that division and throw a bunch of money at someone who can't be called Becky Lynch outside of WWE?
No. Becky Lynch is smart enough to know where her bread is buttered. Seth is in that position. She's just released an autobiography. They have her entire catalog, and she's making a fortune in merchandise. She can make money if she wants to take time off. If she can make money by sitting at home with, but just because her contract is up in 2 months, unless she wants to just take a vacation, I can't imagine she's going anywhere. That would just be insane.
But do you use AEW as a negotiating tool against WWE as opposed to just, here's what we're offering you. Okay, I'd like a little more. Now I'd like a little more. This guy's willing to give me all sorts of crazy shit.
Yeah, but goddamn. At the same time, if you are the WWE office, you know that she would be committing career suicide by leaving and going to work there. And you might say, well, fuck, if we're going to give you X million dollars and you don't want that, you still want to use leverage, fuck it. Go take that and fuck around and find out.
And it's going to be interesting. Everything's selling out, and NXT's about to go to network TV. I mean, I know it's a small network, and network TV doesn't mean anything anymore, but it'll be interesting to see if that increases any of the awareness around it.
Well, and also remember when they brought Becky back here a while ago and had this thing planned with Rhea, the book is coming out. I think they thought, Becky'd come back and beat Rhea, and Rhea is just continuing to get over. I don't know if now would be the time for Becky to say, well, I'll talk to Richie Rich over here, but go see what'll fucking happen. Call Paige. Whatever the fuck. Anyway.